History buried her name, but Irena Sendler carried out the greatest rescue mission of World War II. And almost no one knows how she did it. It was Warsaw, Poland, in October 1943. The brutal pounding on an apartment door could only mean one thing: the Gestapo. Inside, a young Polish social worker is frantically trying to hide her most precious secret. It's not jewelry, not money, it's a list. A list containing the real names and new identities of Jewish children she's smuggled out of the Germans' brutal ghetto. If the Gestapo finds it, she won't be the only one who is doomed. The children, and the entire network that saved them, will be lost. This is the incredible Irena Sendler documentary, a woman who lived through one of history's darkest chapters and led one of the most daring rescue efforts of World War II. Part 1. The Angel of Warsaw. Before the world descended into madness, Irena Sendler was a social worker in Warsaw. Her father was a physician who taught her to help anyone in need, regardless of their background. He died from typhus in 1917, but his lesson of empathy would guide Irena through the darkest chapter of the 20th century. When Germany invaded Poland in 1939, Irena's world was shattered. The Nazis soon began their systematic persecution of the Jewish people. In October 1940, they sealed nearly 500,000 Jews inside a tiny, squalid area of the city that became the Warsaw Ghetto. Cut off from the world, the people inside faced starvation, disease, and the constant threat of being sent to death camps. Reports from inside painted a horrific picture, with thousands dying from hunger and sickness every month. While the Nazis forbade any aid to Jews, Irena refused to stand by and do nothing. She got a special pass from the Epidemic Control Department. This gave her legal access to the ghetto under the pretense of stopping the spread of typhus. Day after day, she walked past armed guards and through the ghetto walls. But she wasn't just there to check on sanitation. With unbelievable courage, she and her colleagues began smuggling in food, medicine, and clothing. But as she walked the ghetto streets, witnessing the suffering firsthand, Irena knew that smuggling supplies wasn't enough. She had to smuggle out the people themselves. Part 2. Jolanta's Children. By the summer of 1942, mass deportations from the ghetto to the Treblinka extermination camp had begun. Irena joined Żegota, the Polish Council to Aid Jews, an underground resistance organization. In September 1943, recognizing her incredible determination, the resistance appointed her to head its children's department, where she operated under the code name Jolanta. Her mission was audacious and almost unimaginably dangerous: to rescue Jewish children who were hidden in and around Warsaw before they could be captured and killed. She built a clandestine network of trusted colleagues, mostly women, who risked everything to defy the Nazis. The methods they used were as ingenious as they were perilous. Infants were sometimes given a sedative and placed in wooden crates with air holes, hidden among sacks of goods being transported out of the ghetto. Small children were concealed in toolboxes, suitcases, and even ambulances. For older children, the network had other plans. Some were led through the city's sewer system, navigating the dark, foul-smelling tunnels to emerge on the Aryan side of the city. Others were taken through the old courthouse, which had one entrance inside the ghetto and another on the outside, allowing for a discreet exit. Every rescue was a heart-wrenching ordeal. Irena had to persuade parents to part with their children, entrusting them to a stranger with no guarantee they would ever see them again. It was a choice no parent should ever have to make. Once a child was safely out, Irena's network provided them with forged documents and new Polish identities. They were then placed in a network of safe havens: Polish foster families, orphanages, and Catholic convents that had agreed to hide them. But Irena never forgot their real names. She meticulously recorded their original identities and new aliases on thin strips of paper. She couldn't risk keeping the lists in her apartment. Instead, she sealed them inside 2 glass jars and buried them in her neighbor's yard, beneath an apple tree. She hoped that after the war, she could dig up the jars and reunite the children with their families. Tragically, almost all of their parents would later perish at Treblinka. Through these efforts, she and her network helped save as many as 2,500 children. Part 3. Arrest and Defiance. For more than a year, Irena's operation saved child after child. But her luck was about to run out. On October 20th, 1943, the Gestapo came for her. Tipped off by an informant, they stormed her apartment. In the chaos of the raid, as soldiers ransacked her home, Irena managed to toss the incriminating papers she had, lists of coded addresses for the children, to a friend, who quickly hid them in her clothing. They found nothing. Irena was arrested and taken to the Gestapo's infamous Pawiak prison. For weeks, she was brutally tortured. She endured weeks of brutal interrogation and severe physical abuse. But despite the unimaginable pain, Irena Sendler refused to talk. She didn't betray a single name or a single child. Her silence saved countless lives. Sentenced to death, Irena was scheduled for execution. But Żegota had not forgotten her. The resistance bribed the German guards who were transporting her. On the way to her execution, her escorts quietly told her to run. On official posters put up around the city, Irena Sendler was listed as executed. But in reality, she was free. She immediately went back into hiding, took on a new false identity, and continued her resistance work until the war was over. Part 4. A Hero Remembered. When Warsaw was finally liberated, one of the first things Irena did was go back to the garden and dig up the 2 glass jars. With the lists in hand, she set out to find the children she had saved and reunite them with any surviving relatives. For most, however, their families were gone forever. For decades, her incredible story remained largely unknown. Poland's post-war communist government wasn't interested in celebrating heroes from the non-communist resistance. While she was recognized by Yad Vashem in Israel in 1965, her name didn't become world famous. That all changed in 1999, when a group of high school students in a small town in Kansas stumbled upon a brief mention of her deeds for a history project. They wrote a play about her called Life in a Jar, which finally brought her story to international prominence. In her final years, the quiet, humble social worker was finally celebrated as one of the great heroes of World War II. She passed away on May 12, 2008, at the age of 98. Irena Sendler always insisted she wasn't a hero. She once said, "Every child saved with my help is the justification of my existence on this earth, and not a title to glory." But in a time of widespread hate and indifference, she and her small network chose to act. They risked torture and death to save the innocent, proving that a few determined people can change the course of history, one precious life at a time. Her legacy lives on not just in history books, but in the thousands of children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren who are alive today only because of her courage. Be sure to follow us for more exciting history stories.